episode of Financial Freeway. My name is David J. Atwood. I am the man rocking the Ray-Bans. And I was just realizing after my last video, because of the length of time it's taken, there's like the big gap there between the last time we spoke, the last time I recorded and was able to upload a video. And today, I think I may have neglected to tell you guys, Gaby, I proposed to Gaby a week ago, and well, it was a bit of an orchestrated event. It was a bit of a mission. Me and Seth went down to the beach in the morning around 5 o'clock, and we scoped out a good spot where he could sit and take some pictures. I'll upload those photos to this video, and you guys can see it. He was kind of hidden in the bush in his ghillie suit, you know, with his camo telescopic lens, taking photos. And Julia was on the beach with us playing her violin. She really wanted to play her violin for us as kind of a gift. And yeah, I took Gaby down to the beach. She had no idea what was going on. She was wondering what the heck Julia was doing with her violin on the beach. But Julia was kind of quirky, so she kind of figured it was Julia just being Julia. So she was playing the violin, and I took Gaby to the exact spot where me and Seth had agreed would be the best place to get a photograph. And I started talking to her, started saying, how much she's added to my life, her being in it, and how much everyone in my family just adores her, and how much I love her. I got down on my knee. I presented her the ring and asked her to marry me. And she said yes. So we are now engaged, and we are full throttle planning the wedding. And it's that's an adventure in its own. Gaby doesn't even really know the first thing about planning a wedding, so there's been a lot of people jumping on board to help us out, and we're going full steam ahead. I thought she might want to wait a while and figure out what she wants. She wants to get married right away. She wants to have an intimate wedding, so that's what we're doing. And I can't say too much more because we haven't really reached out to a lot of the people that are going to be involved, that we need involved. So stay tuned, people. Yes, very excited about that. Very happy. It just feels right. Just feels so right. So that's kind of the big news that I guess I should keep you guys up. If I'm going to tell you this stuff, I might as well tell it all to you. So that's what's new in my life. So last week I've been planning like crazy, trying to figure out, and not only that, keep in mind that I'm also planning a convention at the same time. So there's a lot going on in my life. But I have very, very serious plans to start taking my foot off the throttle after the wedding, after December 7th. That's the date, by the way. After December 7th, I plan very, very seriously on just slowing things down, not taking on too much. I'm going to start focusing more on, just doing renovations in the house, fixing it up. Puttering. I want to get to puttering. There's more things to do, but I really definitely want to get to puttering. So, something I wanted to talk about today, and this is near and dear to my heart, is this ugly, scary word that so many people don't want to deal with, and that's accountability. And the funny thing about accountability is, even when I say to someone, you're not being accountable, they'll say, I am absolutely being accountable. So they're not even being accountable to not being accountable. But that's what it is. If you're a person who hides from blame and hides from accusations and just hides from being the person who is at fault, doesn't want to deal with it, then you're not going to deal with any aspect of that. But what I found ironic is if you talk to anybody in any field that has risen to a level of success, you will find that a lot of them will, how do I say this? The ones who really truly get to that absolute level of success are accountable. They realize when they fall short. They realize because the world tells them that. The thing is if you are an unaccountable person, you will never put yourself in a position to be judged or to be criticized. What are you doing, you stupid person? I swore a lot in the last video, so I'm trying to knock that off. Anyone who drives a Jeep. Oh, it's just a Jeep. What is that? What do we got here? Oh, I don't even know. Can't tell. Anyways, I don't know. Looks like a douche. But I find that being unaccountable is the biggest thing holding people back. I recently got reconnected with a friend of mine from a long time ago. I've known him for 30 years. Couldn't believe we were sitting there talking. I was like, holy crap, I've known this guy a long time. And we were talking about a mutual friend of ours who just isn't having a great life. And he's had some real issues in the past and, real tough times. And recently somebody was saying, hey, we can't get a hold of this guy. We want to make sure he's okay, and we're concerned about him. And some guys really want the Tim Hortons to the point where they'll almost cause a car accident. So this guy's kind of dropped off the face of the earth, and I knew this guy back in about 20 years ago, 2004-ish, I'd say close to 2006-ish, 2008. He literally, when we were hanging out with each other, I would say, hey, you should try this, and he's like, no, I know what I'm doing. Constant. And I was at a point in 2008 where I was fairly destitute, fairly broke, I was in decent shape, but it was only because I wasn't eating. I was in a tough spot in 2008. And even I knew, as we were talking, as I was associating with this person, I even knew that he was in for a world of hurt. We were talking about things like retirement planning, problem solving, like finances, relationships, and he always had the answer for everything. And even when I said, I'm really tired of hanging out with someone who never makes mistakes and is perfect, and even in that moment he couldn't go, yeah, I am perfect, I am. He had to say, no, I'm not perfect, I make mistakes, because he couldn't be accountable to what he was saying. He couldn't even be true to his own words, his own actions. So I ended up ending the relationship because it was so frustrating watching somebody on the trajectory that he was on to just pure self-annihilation. And no matter what I said, he always knew better. Well, the proof is in the pudding, I guess. Really it is. Like when everything's said and done and you look at what's going on, I don't know what's going on with him, but the last I heard of this guy, he was in not a good place financially at all. And his wife and him broke up. His kids won't talk to him. It's on and on, all these kind of really horrible things. It's just, but my point with all of this is the complete lack of accountability. If you want to get further in life, you have to humble yourself. The Japanese have a saying, if you want to be first, you must become last. You gotta be the dumbest guy in the room. If you walk around telling everyone, oh, I'm the smartest guy in the room, nobody's gonna teach you. You're not gonna learn anything. You're not gonna grow. You're not gonna get to where you need to go. You have to be accountable. If someone comes up and says, hey, I'm noticing this behavior, or I'm noticing that maybe you don't have this, or you want this and you're doing this and it's not going to get you the same place. They might say some things that you don't want to hear. They might have some things that you think, no, duh, I already know that, bitch. But the reality is that if you're in a bad place and other people are starting to come to you and say, hey, you got to get bigger goals. You got to start working every day. You got to start cleaning up. You got to start taking care of your health. You got to start taking care of your finances. You got to start taking care of your relationships. When people start coming up to you to say that, you have to have some humility and say, if someone is saying, for instance, someone is saying, look, you're a little overweight. You got to lose the weight. There might be some truth to that. It may not be, they may be harsh about it. It may hurt your feelings, but there may be truth to that. And what I would like everyone that I know, that I want, because I want everyone I know to be successful. What I would like everyone I know to do is if someone comes up and says something to you that is harsh or, rubs you the wrong way, react however you want to react in the moment. We've already talked about reactions, but react however you want to react. But when you walk away, start thinking about why they said that. Like, why did they say that? Oh, hey, you're putting on a little bit of weight, or hey, are you sure you should be spending that money on this? Or hey, what's your wife gonna say about this? If someone starts saying things of that ilk to you, digest it. Think about it. Have some humility, because you cannot learn if you walk around like this guy did. And I sincerely hope he's okay. He just, we're all concerned about him. But if you walk around like this guy did every day, anytime someone said, hey, you know what could make this better? He always had an answer for it. He always had a response for it. And no matter what he did, no matter what anyone said about what he was doing, he always knew he was doing the right thing. And I'm only saying this, I can really say this with a ground of authority, because number one, it was about finances. I talked to him about finances and he wouldn't listen to me at all. He always had a better plan. And last time I spoke to him, this guy was broke. Broke. And another thing was magic. He was a magician. And he'd do the same garbage routine all the time, and I'd say, you got to tighten it up. You gotta be better. He had a storyline that was 20 minutes long, and it was boring, and every time I saw it, I said, it's I can't watch that routine anymore. You have to make it better. A good magic trick is like a good song. You hear a good song, you want to hear it again and again. And eventually you get tired of it, but a good song you'll listen to forever. Same with good magic. Good magic, you'll watch it again and again. It's that pleasing. He did not have this. And no matter how much I would try to tell him, and at first it was like, hey, great trick, because you're trying to encourage somebody. And then you see the same mistakes and the same flaws and, the same drawn out story that, doesn't conclude very well, doesn't follow the rule of 3, things like that. And you go, hey, maybe you could shorten that story up a bit. It's a little bit long-winded, and the payoff at the end of the story isn't big enough for how long the routine is. So, make this a bit of a quicker routine. Wouldn't have it. And when I would say that, he goes, my audiences love it. And I was like, okay, that's true, but I do come from a position of authority in this realm. Not, I'm not the best magician in the world, but, I do, I got some skills, and I know what I'm talking about, and I definitely have had more experience, real world experience than this guy. But he wouldn't hear it, because he didn't want to take advice from a guy like me. He didn't want to hear it from me. So he felt, and that's another thing too, it was a whole other podcast we'll talk about with familiarity. But his absolute lack of humility is what drove him to what was his demise. And as I said, I was speaking with a friend just 2 days ago, and we were talking about it, and we have some real concerns that he might not be with us anymore. And I swear to God, this would be sincerely because he has always had, in my opinion, no, not my opinion, my experience, he had this absolute lack of humility, absolute lack of accountability. He did not want to take a step back and listen to anyone, and anytime he made a mistake, it was always somebody else's fault. If you can become accountable to where you are in life, once you do that, you take control. And once you have control, you become the captain of your ship. And once that's happening, once you are the captain of your ship, you can direct it wherever you want to go. You can really do anything. If you are constantly a victim, you're never going to have control in your life, and you're always going to be, woe is me, why can't I get a break, why can't I get ahead, why does this guy get the things, why. I'm telling you, take control, take accountability. It will serve you well. It really will. Humble yourself. Become a student of everything. Learn from everyone. Be kind, be humble, be accountable. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Make sure you subscribe if you're on YouTube. And also check out financialfreeway23.ca. That's where all the good stuff is, as I've said before. And I do apologize. I will take your congratulations in the comments. Thank you very much for my nuptials, my upcoming nuptials. And as I always say, the important thing that we do here is we spread the good news, spread the good word, let everyone know that about what we talk about here. Even if you want to take credit for yourself, I don't care, as long as everyone understands that they have a right, an inalienable right, to live a life of abundance. Wherever you are in this beautiful world today, beautiful sunrise coming up right here. Wherever you are, God bless.